Shanae Thomas, and today I will be talking about the effects of substance abuse on prenatal development in newborns. I first want to start off by just listing some statistics by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. These statistics were found in 2012 and 2013, and they were based upon pregnant women ranging from ages 15 through 44. The study showed that 5.4% of pregnant women were users of illicit drugs, 9.4% of pregnant women reported the use of alcohol during pregnancy, and 15.4% of pregnant women reported cigarette use during their pregnancies. So I just want to give a brief overview of substance abuse. So what is it? Substance abuse is the overconsumption of any substance that can be harmful to the body. This includes illicit drugs, alcohol, cigarettes. But this can also include over-the-counter drugs, caffeine, anything that can be harmful to the body when consumed in large amounts, or just harmful to the body, period. Substance abuse can lead to both pre- and postnatal issues such as stillbirth, low birth weight, and neonatal abstinence syndrome. So I first want to talk about the use of illicit drugs and their effects on newborns. So in 2017, the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology did a study on marijuana usage during pregnancy, and the study suggested that marijuana usage causes low birth weights. It also showed that marijuana usage is linked to high-pitched cries and the trembling of newborns upon birth, and this is linked to neurological defects of the babies. The study also showed that exposure to THC via breast milk can have negative effects of motor development within the babies, especially within that first year. I think this is a very important topic to cover because marijuana usage is widely popular in not only our society but all across the globe, and it is becoming legal within many states. So with that being said, it's important that pregnant women understand the negative effects of marijuana usage during their pregnancies and how that can affect their babies. I next want to talk about cocaine usage and its effects on unborn babies. It is linked to the higher risk of placental abruption and premature membrane rupture, and the use of cocaine is also linked to cardiovascular issues within the mothers, which can ultimately affect the health of the babies. So cardiovascular issues occur after cocaine usage because of the frequent stress that is placed on the heart after the usage of cocaine. So frequent cocaine usage can lead to hypertension, which ultimately can lead to miscarriages and low birth weights within the babies. And babies are more likely to tremble and have higher pitched cries upon birth. Many people may think that this is because of withdrawal symptoms, because they might be addicted to the cocaine, but because cocaine has a very quick turnaround time to get out of your system, this is usually linked to the neurological defects that cocaine has on the babies and not the actual addiction of cocaine on the babies. Next, I want to talk about meth and its effects. So meth leads to preeclampsia in pregnant women, and preeclampsia itself is a major issue that many pregnant women have to deal with. And so this can lead to placental abruption, which can ultimately lead to premature delivery. And if the premature delivery is, way early, like before 24 weeks, this can ultimately affect the quality of life and the longevity of life of the newborn. The usage of meth can also lead to cognitive issues in the affected babies. So next I want to talk about the use of heroin and opioids and their effects with newborns. When heroin enters the bloodstream of newborns, they quickly can become addicted, and this can lead to neonatal abstinence syndrome. And this is when the babies are addicted, and therefore upon birth, they exhibit withdrawal symptoms due to them needing and craving that drug. This can lead to high pitched and excessive crying in the baby, seizures, internal issues such as gastrointestinal issues, and just overall stress on the bodies of the newborns, because like I said, they are experiencing withdrawal symptoms, which put adults through a lot, so you can imagine how it has major effects on newborns. Before I move on and talk about alcohol and its effects on newborns, I first want to mention the use of over-the-counter medications, certain medications such as antidepressants, and their frequent use and possible abuse of those type of medications can lead to similar problems such as illicit drugs. So it's important to be aware of how those drugs can also impact newborns. So the use of alcohol during pregnancy can cause a range of fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, which causes brain damage during prenatal development, which can lead to developmental issues, cognitive issues, and behavioral issues. This can often lead to difficult childhoods and difficult adulthoods. What you often see is that babies who were exposed to alcohol while they were in the womb often grow up to have hard childhoods and hard adulthoods because of these behavioral issues due to the cognitive defects because of the alcohol exposure. So they often are more likely and more susceptible to fall into the hands of the criminal justice system. They're often not able to excel in school at the same rate as babies who are not exposed to alcohol during pregnancy. So it all just plays a role in their cognitive defects. Finally, I'm going to talk about the use of cigarettes during pregnancies and how it can affect newborns. Well, when newborns are exposed to cigarette smoke, they're also exposed to carbon monoxide and nicotine exposure. And this can lead to a lack of oxygen supply to the fetus, which can lead to a greater risk for premature death, low birth weight, birth defects, and SIDS. I also did some research on the effects of secondhand smoke on prenatal development, and some of the same effects that actual cigarette smoking has is the same for secondhand smoking also. SIDS was mentioned, low birth weight was also mentioned, so that just goes to show pregnant women, whether they're smoking cigarettes or are around cigarette smoke, should just not have any contact with cigarette smoke regardless, just because of the major health effects that it can have on a newborn. So my research article was increased cocaine and amphetamine regulated transcript cord blood levels in the newborns exposed to crack cocaine in the uterus. So the purpose of this research study was to identify if increased CART levels are linked to prenatal exposure to cocaine. So CART, which stands for cocaine and amphetamine regulated transcript, is a neuropeptide protein that is seen in all humans, which honestly has the effect of cocaine and amphetamine, but when exposed to cocaine, kind of like counteracts the effects of cocaine, if that makes sense. So in this study, a cross-sectional study was conducted, and the uterine cord blood CART levels of newborns exposed to cocaine was compared to the uterine cord blood CART levels of newborns not exposed to cocaine. So basically they just composed those blood levels in babies that were reported to have been exposed to cocaine in the hospitals versus those that hadn't been reported to have been exposed to cocaine. The results and the conclusion showed that the mean of CART levels was significantly higher in exposed newborns compared to unexposed newborns. And this shows that increased levels indicate that oxidative stress happens as a result of those newborns being exposed to cocaine, and it's basically like a neuroprotection mechanism. And so that just shows that those CART levels were elevated, and therefore those babies are having more oxidative stress on their brains and their bodies. This research study not only this research study, but this whole project really opened my eyes to understand the effects of substance abuse and how it can affect prenatal development. I hope to become a midwife one day, so I hope to educate young mothers on the importance of staying clean if they have a substance abuse issue, or not getting involved in the usage of substances at all while they are pregnant. Thank you for this opportunity, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.